The Legend of Zelda is one of the most recognizable gaming franchises in history. It's one of Nintendo's crown jewels, with millions of fans and nearly 4 decades of adventures. And I've never beaten a single one. What? Now to preface, I've never really been the biggest Zelda fan. I didn't even care to learn the lore. I played on the NES, which I didn't own, and then on the SNES, which I also didn't own. But before you start raising your pitchforks, hear me out. I grew up in a third world country where we had what I'd like to call a lending economy. I lend you a game, you lend me a game, and the goal is to beat it before our parents even found out that it left the house. Trust me, if you know, you know. I made a lot of friends that way. If someone had a game I wanted, I'd just walk up to them, offer up my collection, and hope to God they were at least interested in one of them. That's how I first got my hands on Zelda. But the thing is, when you're borrowing games, you don't always get enough time to allow the game to grow on you. I'd play for a bit and then swap it out for something else before I could really dive in. So while I touched Zelda, I never really got into Zelda. Moving on. For years, that was fine. I never really felt like I was missing anything. Until this year. Wait. My lips is dry as shit. Y'all see that in the camera and didn't say that? Alright, let's get into it. So I finally sat down and played Breath of the Wild. Well, technically this is my third attempt. I played a few times before, but it just never really stuck. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset at the time, but this time, things just fell right into place. Now to call this game anything less than a masterpiece wouldn't be doing it any justice. There's so much I could talk about that I loved about this game. Seriously, I could go on forever. But let's start with player choice. The sheer freedom I felt made this feel like a true open world. I've played a lot of open world games before, but Breath of the Wild was the first time that it actually felt open. No invisible walls, no hand-holding, just a world that let me go wherever, however, and whenever I wanted. And the best part, the game encourages you to experiment, to think outside the box, to approach challenges in a way that feels natural and not scripted. The fact that you can head straight to Ganon the moment the game starts is the perfect testament to how much Breath of the Wild emphasizes freedom of choice and player agency. Though, I wouldn't recommend it. Almost every shrine can be solved in multiple ways depending on how you think. I remember solving one by launching a metal box with stasis instead of doing whatever the game wanted me to do at that point. And the game just let me. No penalty, no correction, it just worked. Now I've had multiple instances like that, solving puzzles or fighting enemies way earlier than I probably should have. I even pulled a Master Sword super early in game. It took some experimenting, but I was dead set on figuring out just how many hearts I needed to get that bad boy. So I just kept at it until I eventually made it happen. That's the beauty of this game. It's all about making your experiences your own. It's a rare kind of design, and I mean rare in a sense that it's kind of hard to make this kind of freedom fun, but Breath of the Wild nails it, and I've grown fond of this approach. I was so caught up in just how much time I needed to invest in learning the economy, learning the craft, and with this, none of it mattered. And they were all there, from figuring out recipes to come up with ultimate healing foods, foods that increase your attack power, buying and selling items, crafting, everything was here. But it wasn't overwhelming. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't great open world games. That's a wild statement to make. But Zelda came at a time when I guess I wanted a fresh experience. A few years ago, I played Immortal Phoenix Rising and I loved it. I thought it was just an awesome, underrated action-adventure game from one of the most hated publishers in gaming currently. But I realized it was basically Breath of the Wild with an Ubisoft accent, and I was too out of the loop to even notice. From the art style and combat system to stamina management, it had all the ingredients. Even the perfect dodge was lifted straight from Breath of the Wild, complete with slow motion follow-up. And then there was the Tartarus Vaults, which was pretty much this game's version of the shrines. Self-contained challenge rooms scattered across the world, and let's not forget the puzzles, which were pure physics-based. Just like Zelda, you could stack, launch, roll, or cheese your way through a lot of them. It definitely towed the line between respectful homage or blatant knockoff, but honestly, I really enjoyed it. Now, if you want me to talk more about Immortal Phoenix Rising, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe while you're at it. Thanks. But this is a Zelda video, so let's get back to it. I was completely enamored with Breath of the Wild's combat. It seems simple on the surface, but once you understand the system, there's so much happening underneath. Now first you've got the basic sword attack. Link can perform a series of quick slashes or charge it up for a heavier hit. And then there's range attacks. Bows and arrows are your go-to here. And they're more than just your backup plan. A well-placed headshot can deal critical damage or even take out a weaker enemy in a single hit. Shields do more than block. With proper timing, you can parry enemy attacks, knocking them off balance and opening up windows for counterattack. When you unlock the Flurry Rush, time slows down and Link goes into full anime mode, unleashing a rapid flurry of strikes. See what I did there? Flurry Rush, Flurry Strikes? Anyways, it can be very satisfying at times. That said, I didn't use this mechanic very much. Why? Well, because it burns through your weapons very fast. And in a game where every sword, spear, and stick has limited lifespan, I found myself saving the bigger hits for when it really mattered. Now you also have spears, which are two-handed weapons that emphasizes speed and reach. They're great for quick jabs, charge lunges, and dash attacks, but since they're two-handed weapons, you can't use a shield alongside them. It's all about trade-offs. Pick the right tool for the right job. And Breath of the Wild rewards you for being smart. Sneak up behind an enemy and stab them in the back, and you will deal significantly more damage. Same with a surprise headshot. It's not just about stats, it's about how you approach a fight. You can even throw weapons, which could be very effective depending on the circumstance. Mainly when your weapon's about to break, if you throw it for that final hit, it pretty much explodes. And yes, weapons durability is a thing in this game. I'd say the community is split 50-50 on this, but personally, I don't mind it because it allows me to adapt on the fly, and it adds more challenge to the game. The environment is also a part of the combat. Drop an explosive barrel in a moblin camp and let physics do the rest. Roll boulders down a hill, electrocute enemies in water. This game wants you to think creatively. And as you progress, you're not just getting better weapons, you're getting stronger too. Upgrading Link's health and unlocking runes like stasis and bombs opens up new strategies. Toss in food buffs for extra attack or defense, and suddenly you're cooking with more than just apples and meat skewers. And bro, I got some banging recipes. It's not about having the biggest swords, it's about having your tools and understanding how to make them your own. One of the things that truly blew me away after hours of exploration is just how alive the world felt. Breath of the Wild doesn't just give you a map. It gives you a living, breathing ecosystem. You'll run into strangers on the road who will mention rumors, legends, or even give cryptic hints about places worth exploring. It feels cozy at times, especially with the calming soundtrack in the background, but then I'm swiftly reminded with an enemy encounter, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, this world can kill you. The weather system is also brilliant. If it starts to rain and you are halfway up a cliff, good luck scaling it. And if you're carrying metal in a thunderstorm, I hope you like lightning strikes. These aren't just gimmicks. They're a part of the environment, part of the challenge. What really sells it though is how the NPCs felt like real people with their own routines. It felt like Hyrule kept moving even when I wasn't looking, and I love that. Now I've said a lot so far, and somehow I still haven't talked about the lore. Mostly because it's convoluted as but also because I wanted to show you what the game felt like through the eyes of a non-Zelda fan. Someone who didn't grow up with Hyrule or Ganon or timelines that split into 3 different realities because some guy lost a fight. There's a lot to the lore that I only discovered while working on this video. Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. So let's address the elephant in the room. I was working on my setup during the production of this video, and I totally forgot about the video. So let's just pretend like this has always been like this, okay? Cool. Let's get back to the video. The biggest debate that I've seen online is the whole timeline thing. Apparently, all the Zelda games take place in different branching universes. And people have spent years trying to make sense of it all. And you know what? That's cool and all, but I hate timelines. Not just here, in general. I used to think that it was a clever storytelling tool. Now, they feel like a narrative get-out-of-jail-free card. It's not that I hate Zelda's story. Again, I just got here. I'm just pointing out that the timeline thing didn't really add anything to my experience. Now with that said, let's get into the story. From what I've gathered, 10 years before the events of Breath of the Wild, Hyrule was basically a steampunk fantasy kingdom. The Sheikah built these mechanical giant creatures, the Divine Beast, and laser spider guardians to protect the land from Calamity Ganon. When he inevitably returns, Link faces off against him, but things don't go well. Link is gravely injured in battle, and to save him, Zelda has him sealed away in a chamber to heal. With Link out of commission, Zelda is forced to hold Ganon back alone for an entire century, trapped in the castle using everything she has to keep him from consuming the world. That's when you wake up. Link comes back 100 years later with no memory of who he is, what happened, or why the world has gone to hell. Even as someone who didn't know who the hell Hylia was or why Ganon turns into a pig sometimes, I still felt the weight of this world. Because at its core, it isn't about keeping track of every king, curse, or Korok seed. It's about stepping into a fallen kingdom and becoming the reason it rises again.
Welcome, warriors. I'd like to thank you for joining me here today, and for your bravery in accepting this fateful task. I officially appoint you Hyrule's champions, and bestow upon you this sacred garb. That blue is a symbol of the royal family, one that has been passed down for countless generations.
Now, I might be going off on a limb here, but just go with me for a minute. Link and Zelda, they have a thing, right? There's no way they don't. From my perspective, there's a lot of unspoken love between these two characters that feels kind of old school, almost poetic even. They're two people that can never really say what they feel about each other. One, because Zelda's a princess, honor-bound by duty, and is in constant conflict. And well, two, because Link, well, you don't talk. All jokes aside, my interpretation is this. They're two people that will never get their happy endings because they want to give the people of Hyrule theirs. And to me, that's what makes their relationship so powerful. It's not about romance in the traditional sense. It's about sacrifice, devotion, and two people who understand each other on a level deeper than words. I didn't need years of lore to feel the weight of what they've lost. In short, this game was fantastic, and somehow it turned me into a lifelong fan. I'm out here digging through timelines, reading up lore, trying to piece all this together like some expert. Breath of the Wild is a game that rewards your curiosity and somehow makes a ruined world feel alive. That's the real magic. For me, it redefines what an open world game could be. Not just for me, but maybe for everyone. And hey, as long as Nintendo doesn't pull some catastrophic business move that tanks their brand, I'll be there excited for every Zelda game that comes next. Well, fuck. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe, and like always, play on, play up. Peace.